All
right, thanks, Anna. Well, Pfizer taking a stand against capital punishment. Did you hear this story this week? It's announced that it's going to block all of its drugs from being used in lethal injections on death row inmates. The drug-making giant joins more than 20 other U.S. and European companies that have blocked execution drugs. Now, all federally approved drug makers who could supply the drugs for executions are off limits. So is this a good move? Here for a fair and balanced legal debate around this, attorneys Yodit Tawalde and Jonna Spilborn. Nice to see both of you this morning. Yodit, does Pfizer have the right to do this?
Absolutely. Pfizer is a private company, and they have the right to create and implement any policy concerning the use of their products. And whether those policies are motivated by moral or business reasons is of no importance at this point. But yes, they do have a right to dictate how their products are used. Absolutely.
Jonna, do you agree with that? Disagree? Big business here. Can they do what they want with their own products?
As a private company, they most likely do until the government compels them otherwise. But can we mention the hypocrisy here for a second, Clayton? Because in the last 40 years, we have executed just over 1,400 people in this country. But in 2014, 47,000 died from prescription drug overdoses, which obviously is Big Pharma's bread and butter. So if you want to take a moral stance or take the moral high ground here, how about do something to curb those deaths as opposed to making a political statement by refusing to give the government drugs that it requires in legal situations? Because let's not also forget that the death penalty is legal in any state that wants to have it, and it's constitutional to put people to death by lethal injection.
But, Yodit, can they be compelled to do that? I mean, being forced to use, Jonna brings up a great point about the use of these drugs, but can they be compelled to have their drugs used on death row?
I don't think that they can. I mean, let's think about it. This is a company, this is the second largest pharmaceutical company in the world. And of course, they're a company that's concerned about the dollar at the end of the day. So you have a company who's as huge as they are. Why would they want their brand associated with capital punishment? No one can make them have their product be used to administer lethal injections. But the problem is if these states, these death penalty states, can't obtain drugs through the normal pharmaceutical market, then what they're going to do is think of alternatives.
Okay,
and that's where we're getting to sticky situations.
That's the point I wanted to get in here, Jonna. What's going to happen now to the death row inmates? Because now all these drugs are gone. You bring back firing squads? What do you do?
And certain states are already moving to do that. Lethal injection, whether you agree with death penalty or not, lethal injection is probably the most humane way to execute a person. And if the government is foreclosed from using lethal injection drugs because private companies don't want to supply them, then we have the electric chair, we have the gas chamber, we have firing squads, far less humane ways to put somebody to death once they've been adjudicated on death for the death penalty. So I think the objective is going to fall flat.
Oh, we're up against a hard break. I could continue this debate. This is a really fascinating issue, guys.
Absolutely.
Yodit and Jonna, great to see you this morning. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.